If you're thinking of updating your photos for social media, stick around because today I'll be sharing tips to help you plan your next brand session. And I'm also going to be sharing some ideas on ways in which you can use your brand photos. Stick around. This episode is brought to you by Video Marketing for Creators, my very own course where I show you how to put together a plan and a strategy that will help you share your message and give you the confidence you need to show up on video and press record. Visit focusandbloomstudios.com, learn video to get started. That's focusandbloomstudios.com/learn video. Hola, I'm Yesenia Bocanegra, and I'm a photographer turned marketing strategist who took a leap of faith and moved 3,000 miles away from home with one camera and one heavy suitcase filled with dreams. In this show, I share a variety of tips, tactics, and candid conversations to help you grow and up-level your business with purpose and joy, one action item at a time. So get comfortable and let's get started. This is the Focus and Bloom Podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the Focus and Bloom Podcast. I'm your host, Yesenia. Today, we're going to be talking about brand photography and how you can best prepare for your next brand session, whether that is you're hiring a photographer or you're doing it yourself. In this podcast, we share a variety of tips and tactics to help you grow and up-level your business. And if you like that type of content, go ahead and click subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming episodes. You can do that on your favorite podcast platform or here on YouTube. So moving forward, brand photography. First of all, people connect with people, and that's important because we want to put a face to the name. So when it comes to creating your brand photography, the first thing that you need to know is to know exactly the purpose behind your photos. You want to define your goal when it comes to photography. And this sort of comes back to those SMART goals. If you've followed me before, if you've listened to some of my previous episode, I'm a fan of SMART goals or setting SMART goals. And if you're not familiar with the concept, SMART means specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. SMA. Yeah, I did all of them. Well, yeah, the thing is you want to set SMART goals for everything that you do in your business. So this way you are able to keep track of things and then make adjustments as needed. One of the things that you want to include in your marketing strategy is actually your brand photos, because with brand photography, you can really elevate the way that you can communicate with your audience online or on any other platform. So the first thing that you need to know is, why is it that you're doing this session? So define a goal. Are you launching? Are you creating a new course that you change your look? Are you just refreshing your brand? Are you pivoting altogether? Once you have this, you'll be able to then continue building the blogs or putting together the blogs to what is going to be your brand photography session. So the next thing is creating a list. You create a list of the things or your must-haves, the things that you really, really need to photograph or have photographed in this session. So let's say you're going to launch a new product, a new group coach session. So maybe, and this is online, for example. So maybe what you're going to do is you want to get a shot of you in front of a computer where you're talking, you're just demonstrating something. Maybe you're launching a podcast and you want to get some photos with a microphone. You can use that on the cover photo. You don't have to, but that's an option. But still, you're a podcaster now. So it would be good to include a photo here and there where you're talking on a microphone as you would when you are recording your podcast, or maybe you're doing live streams. So you might get some behind the scenes shots of when you're working on something. These are examples of things that you should consider when you're planning this session and write them down as whether this is like a must have, or it could be great if I have it, or it's okay if I don't. So maybe put that on your wish list. The next thing, and this is one of my favorite things, is creating a mood board. A mood board or a vision board is really just a collection of images or things that really inspire the concept behind your photo shoot. My favorite tool for this is Pinterest. But before using Pinterest, I would just go on Google, good old Google, and Google photos and ideas and just put them all together on a PowerPoint. And I would send that to my creative team, my makeup artist, my stylist, my models, my assistants, everybody. This way, everybody knew the concept that I'm going for. And then everybody can chip in and they're bring in their own ideas, and it then turns everything into a really cool creative effort and creative experience. So we talked about mood board. We talked about your important things and again, your wish list of things that you may want to have. So going back to maybe you're rebranding, or you are just sort of like refreshing your content overall and revisiting what your content pillars are. And maybe some of those content pillars now reflect a little bit more of your personal life. So maybe you just relocated to another place, or maybe you've gotten a puppy and you want to incorporate your puppy or some of the things that you do around town as part of your content, then that's something that you should consider as well. Depending on what your message is, depending on the style of your brand, go ahead and create that list of things that you really, really need and a list of the things that will be great to have. Another thing that you should consider is what props do you need to have or incorporate in your photos? Maybe you are a fitness instructor, so you may want to bring a kettlebell or two, or some resistance bands, or you're a yoga instructor, so you would bring your yoga mat, some yoga blocks and things like that. Or maybe you are a real estate agent. You probably have this huge key sign that you want to bring, or that you typically have a soul sign, or anything like that that you would use for your business. Or maybe you're just incorporating something new. Again, little things like this really help not just make your photos look different, but really just help sprinkle part of your own personality in your photos. Because again, people buy from people, people connect with people. Nowadays, you really want to showcase who you are so that you can build those authentic relationships with your clients and with your audience, so that in turn becomes a really exciting and really productive experience altogether. The next thing is your location. And location is important because if you have a luxury brand, let's say you're a luxury real estate agent, and maybe you should probably consider having some of your photos done in a place that really screams luxury and upscale, because that's sort of the thing that your clients are going to be looking for. If you are, let's say, a business that works outdoors, maybe you own a kayak business or something that involves the environment. So I would not probably connect luxury with canoeing or kayaking necessarily. I would hope to see something that's outdoorsy, casual, fun, some laughter, not necessarily a lot of posing, but really just like lifestyle looking images. This will all be based on who your client is and what's your overall message with your brand. What are you delivering? What are those questions that you're answering? What are those common pain point problems that your audience has? And how can you help solve that? And those questions really help set the pace and set the tone for anything that you're going to create, whether it is a static post on social media, carousels, videos, and photos. So just keep that in mind. Finally, outfits. You want to wear something that makes you feel comfortable, confident as well, and that connects with your brand. A lot of the time, something that's good to do would be to incorporate colors that are related to your brand as part of your wardrobe. This doesn't mean that you have to do it all the time, but at least every now and then it would be good to sprinkle some of those brand colors in your outfits. If you go to my website, focusandbloomstudios.com, you'll see that I have a warm neutral color palette. Or if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see that I have warm color palette throughout the set here. My wardrobe, my backdrop, and some of the accessories or decor that I have are all in that beige tone and warm feel, which is very much like my brand. And you'll see that consistent through the graphics that I create for the podcast and any other graphic that I will share on social media. So again, it's connecting your brand. My brand is very much a casual business casual feel. So you would probably see me a lot with jeans. I love jeans. So you'll probably see me you'll see me wear jeans every day of the year, probably, even if it's 100 degrees. I'm wearing my jeans. Are you a jeans person? Let me know in the comments, actually. So the next thing to think about is, where are you using these photos? So at the beginning, I was asking, first of all, why are you using these photos? What are you doing that will require these photos? But then now is where you're using them. And this is also going to be very impactful, because it can affect the way that the photos are being captured, the composition, and everything that is within that image. So if you're having these images done because you're launching a new book or maybe like a magazine format that you are going to share with your audience online, maybe you're creating some print ads or a billboard. If you're going to print type of marketing, you're doing a new podcast, launching a course, options are quite a lot. So really, what exactly are the applications in which you are going to be using these photos? And, some of them are a lot of the ones that I just said: your website, your social media, a business card, any other flyer, printed media. Maybe you are doing a guest appearance at somebody's podcast or a guest blog post or anything like that. The way that you use your content can be repurposed in a variety of ways. So don't feel that if you do one session, you can't reuse those photos later on. So you can totally do that. It's perfectly acceptable. Remember, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're just slicing the wheel and making lots of pieces out of it so that we can be more creative and continue doing things that would move our business forward. I hope you found today's episode insightful and helpful, and now you feel more confident going into your next brand photography session. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss out any future episodes. And remember, this is part 2 of a part 3 series where we're talking about ways to create consistent content for social media. Check out episode 49, where we dove into developing your brand. This one is all about brand photography, and the very last one is all about video. So check out episode 50 and keep on watching or listening, depending on whichever one. Okay, I'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in on another episode of the Focus and Bloom podcast. Be sure to leave us a review on iTunes so that we can continue creating more content like this. And go ahead and visit today's show notes at focusandbloomstudios.com/shownotes.